Hello everyone, this is Floxcat, and admittedly this is going to be a different video than usual when it comes to this series, but I do kind of want to go ahead and do a little bit of a discussion piece about this because the series is almost end. Plus, also I do kind of have to keep kind of my promise because remember I did just state that I was going to have a video out as a part two to the previous smiling friend or high five friends of GP Reads, but I haven't got to that yet. And even then, I may never get to that, unfortunately, which is sad. But I do want to go ahead and put down my final thoughts, kind of before the season finale, because the series finale is going to come up soon, and of course, I do want to recap, how I feel about it, and sort of just my predictions of what's going to happen for a while. And honestly, it's kind of crazy how long this series has been going because I think this series started 2 years ago, if I'm correct. And there's reasons why it took a while for GP Reed to record all of this, and personal stuff got into his way of doing it, like any other people. I mean, heck, that I got personal stuff myself that got away when doing this stuff. Um, but I do want to go ahead and do a little video. There's also other reasons why I'm doing this video because there's kind of a side thing happening that I won't say, but it involves this phone. So I decided, why not? Let's make this a little bit of a discussion piece so far how I feel about the series. And honestly, by now that, especially recently, which, surprise, surprise, I didn't expect my annoying orange video to go kaboom. I mean, it's not that big of a boom, but it is a kaboom. It's like up to a little bit 200 reviews the last time I checked. Um, Actually, I can check through this, but as you guys know, I always like smaller RPG projects like this or ARG projects because they don't usually get covered because people, the more normal ARG channels usually just don't care about it. They just want the good stuff, which is, I mean, it's fair and understandable, but there is a lot of goodness in some ARGs, and I feel like GP Reed's own ARG. To, to, to this day, I wish people do sort of cover it other than me, which I don't know if they have not. As not like I'm gatekeeping, I'm actually the opposite. I want people to discuss his ARG because it's super good. And this new edition is really good. Like, yeah, I'll admit it's been literally a while. I've been off and on this ARG, especially recently with its recent arc of the whole Hi Fi Friends thing. However, honestly, that's kind of a shame because this has been one of, if not the most unique and best ARGs I ever seen. Like the whole entire thing, of course, already with the Naomi ARG is has always been best, and this is definitely a great continuation of it. Of course, you know, and a lot has to do with the very interesting, complex story. Like G.P. Reed definitely does a great job putting symbolism in there, including ones that I honestly do not know, but he does a pretty good job with the story. And honestly, all the characters in that story is pretty straightforward and good. Like you'll like some of them, if even the main antagonist is like that boss character and stuff like that. You'll actually enjoy them because it is pretty funny. It's not just a old dark ARG. It is a lighthearted one to say the least, but not too lighthearted to be freaking annoying or something that doesn't match well with an ARG. Though then again, I don't know what many would consider that. That's just my personal opinion of what ARG is. It's supposed to have some sort of darkness or something. I don't fucking know. It must be my own thing because luckily, luckily it's not like something like that feels for me. I don't know, but anyways, what makes this ARG so unique is just the story. And honestly, so far the story is pretty straightforward. We are introduced with the character Happy, who definitely has a lot of mental problems, mostly due to the fact that he was, as we later find out through the series, um, literally he was pretty much a patient of Naomi through weird force, of course. Uh, but other than that, he is kind of broken in some way. And of course, the boss character is suspicious. His new friend, Unit something, I forgot his number, but we'll call him Unit. His coworker, he becomes friends with him, but it's sort of a neutral situation right now because he's also trying to figure out what's going on. And then there's the introduction of Blanco and all that. It actually smooths in quite nicely and stuff. And admittedly, the whole sing along songs. I mean, I know that's weird for ARG to have one, but then again, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared had it, so it's actually is cool and it's kind of refreshing because you don't really see those in a lot of ARGs now and then. But what's fascinating is how well good. I'm still shocked we have not get a full version of How Are You Today, the very first song introduced in this series, because really that is the best song. That's like my favorite song because it's really good. Um, but more importantly, I do think the structure is good. I do like the mysteries. I do like, once again, the ARG does, make sure to remember it's an ARG and nothing else. I know that's weird to say, but just trust me on that. If you, as my opinion again, but I have seen, especially through my own past, how ARGs will fumble because they keep forgetting it's an ARG and stuff. But this one is a pretty straightforward one that knows what it's doing. Um, And as a turn to what will happen in the future, especially in the upcoming final episode, I know GP Reed confirmed he has plans, though I don't know if it will tie back to Naomi or will he make a brand new series alone. Because again, that Naomi thing, like this is still one part of the story of the Naomi series. Like the Naomi main story isn't over yet. Like no matter how this ends, one thing I will guarantee is Naomi story is not going to end, even if this series does end. And to be fair, I think Naomi is one of the best antagonistic groups I ever seen in fiction, even counting, you know, official, if you know what I mean, like actual official fiction and this, which isn't like fan fiction, it's just general fiction, but it's not like on a TV show or something. Because honestly, that's always been a curious thing. Like, because these guys are very evil, but yet for some odd reason, they keep claiming, no matter what, that they're not evil. And then they do some weird ass stuff like cloning people who talked about them and literally like really just ridicule them or stuff like that. Like it works. It works. And it's kind of interesting how they do it because it's not like something like another series I know, which I did briefly mention it under my breath, um, where how they did it, it was just garbage. But here, this is actually much more better on how to actually do it in some way. To usually call out someone and not screw it up and stuff. Like, really, I do believe this is the more better way to do something like that. Because, really, real talk, I am just generally shocked on how the series, go through that as well. And again, the whole Naomi thing is still a good mystery. Like, who is this company? Why the F are they a freaking cult and all that? And, you know, it's a really good company to say the least. And honestly, to this day, which it kind of reminds me back when I first started doing my playthroughs of Pokemon X, which of course that series been canceled, but I still remember jokingly calling them like an evil organization from Pokemon, and it's kind of like that actually. It really is. It's like a actual evil organization from a video game or anime in some way, and it's really done well. And I love the continuation of how it works, how it's both funny but also pure insanity, and how it like engages with the community in a more nicer way. And that's probably one of the other reasons why I love GP Read. Which, not to get off topic, but this does relate. This ARG is not as toxic as any other ARGs, to say the least, because that's probably the biggest reason why it's not failing because it's not toxic. Like the creator himself knows how to not make it toxic, and he actually proved that already because he actually did a whole video, which I actually backed up myself for my own videos because yeah, it's a pretty very interesting way of how he handled it because it's not like you know like in the past or something like, and I think it still happens sometimes. I mean, right now I know there's like been a weird ass war between people who are like so critical and weird with their ARGs now attacking the analog horror stuff, which I'm not saying they're partially wrong because admittedly there's now a whole chemical, there's a whole huge buttloads of analog horror, and it feels like they kind of go in there like the same way how horror games went for the mascot horror stuff. But the way they do it is like, oh my god, okay, shut up, we get it. And this is kind of the point. It's not as toxic like any of the other ARGs I've seen at all. Like, it's very friendly, it's pretty straightforward. It's very, it's very calming and very nice and stuff. And it's really is great to see that because like I said before, and I will say this again, it was thanks to GB Reeds himself and his ARG for getting me back into at least looking in somewhat of ARGs. And I do look into them, but for like I said, even like in the recent Annoying Orange videos, I only cover those that are literally forgotten or just one shoot of people just leaving them behind and stuff. Like I'm the biggest one of my well known big videos, which I feel like I should make a update video of it to be more refined to say the least. Um, because there is some interesting updates. Uh, is the Naisumi Steps video, which is like one of my favorites I ever done because it's so easy. Yet I'm shocked no one has ever really did a deep dive. Like, yeah, it's the story is super easy to figure out what it's really going after, but it's so well done and it's so a good blanket and you missed it that it works. It just works. It's no wonder why it's so popular in Japan and stuff. And it's kind of funny because one of the interesting updates I just found out is the animator is still animating of Naisumi's stuff. He just recently animated for an anime, believe it or not. That's like the recent of his updates, but still cool that he still gets work through that. But, you know, I usually cover small ARGs because, I don't want to get into the toxicity of people like that anymore. Because again, if you know my past, you know that. And again, I always feel like I'm really, truly in debt with GP Reed for, helping me get out of there. And really, making me feel more comfortable with ARGs a little bit. And yeah, sure, me and him will never truly probably see eye to eye in some things. Like, biggest thing obvious is the fact that, I'm more truly rated M for mature than he is, like rated MRX to say the least. But I can respect that. I mean, again, I kind of understand. He's not like the type of guys I have to deal with Candy Cat Channel to make it straightforward, and I totally understand that. And that's fine. I have my own issues that I have to deal with myself, and I understand. If he doesn't appreciate it, but we do agree to disagree in many cases, and it works. Like it works because yeah, I understand. I don't want to ruin this for you. I don't want to drag you down or anything. And I think it's also that communication, and not just me and him friends, but also like how the ARG is structured. It's very communicated because again, like I said, especially due to past experience, it makes sure to tell people, hey, this is an ARG through and through. Just deal with it. And really is so funny how it does it because most ARGs seem to forget to tell people that. Because, again, and I know it's kind of weird that I'm bringing this up, but it really does because the whole happy thing, like the high five friends thing, going back to it, the way how it was integrated with the people through voting, that's a genius idea. Yeah, it's the most cliche idea, but it is genius. And of course, it worked like any other YouTube thing. Although I will say, I'm actually surprised how people did at least both people and Keep It Read how they responded to the voting thing actually because I was expecting them to do something crazy, just choose the wrong answer or something like that. But thankfully, it didn't happen, which is surprising because most of the time I see, like, for example, I see like Circle Tune's recent advertisement for the his recent card game, and people are just choosing the most what the fuck answers with that. Which, to be fair, it's funny. But anyways, um, yeah, and again, what else is there? Like the clues that he leaves, they're very good. Like they're just ARG clues, but again, there's a lot more hints towards it, lore wise. And again, even I missed them, but you don't need to use the clues to figure out the story, and that is good. Like you can look into it to learn more about it, but you can still, you know, watch it without the clues, and that's fine. Like some ARGs always do that as well. I'm not saying they don't, but this one you can feel confident of understanding without the clues of what's going on. And really, I guess the only other thing I can say is the editing because the editing is pretty good. Like it's an upgrade from his usual stuff. It's still his usual thing, but he has improved over the years. I mean, when he first started, I remember his ARG evolved some weird shrub, believe it or not, some weird shrub. And there was like the whole sheep thing. And then, of course, how he just used a recording of Mikey Lugo and stuff. But now he's like have these bunch of cool characters. He's doing very good with editing. And yeah, it may be still bland, but it's still good bland. It's like pretty good. Like he come a long way and stuff. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of it. It's at least it's better than how I did because I can't upgrade. All I have is like what? Like right now I just have like this now PC thing with Pokemon stickers. And you know, yeah. But anyways, long story short, it's a very good series. And again, I do have to apologize for not getting to part two of that, but this will make it up because honestly, I think I'm a little bit too late looking into that part two. And even then, we'll have to see what it is because again, it's just a small amount, and even then, like I said before, the small difference from that video to it's the two other videos is the more information of unit of him really getting ready to blast the enemy here. But I can't wait to see the ending of this series and see what he comes up next. So those are my kind of final thoughts for now. A kind of review, so to speak. Um, but really a good series. And like I said, I will do a final analysis of this series. I might make it into a live stream because I haven't done those in a while, but we'll see. And that is a guaranteed promise because I got this working up, but we'll see. Anyways, this has been Floxcap and snapping out of here. Bye bye.